So if you watched my last video on the safe, you know I was waiting on Canon to send me replacement parts, and they did. So I've got a new keypad, which is marked NL. Not sure if this is Lagard or not. I don't think it is. And a new lock mechanism. Unfortunately, these are not the same ones that are in the safe right now. So I looked at the Canon video, and it's kind of lacking. It shows you taking off the inside of the door panel. The drop bolt is missing. So I don't know, they never tell you to take it out. I'm going to go through the whole process of changing out the lock from the inside as well as the keypad. They do send you the hardware for it, so let's go ahead and get started with that. I just wanted to say one thing. This video is for those of you that own a safe and have had the lock failed, and Canon has sent you a replacement or you've bought one. So it's intended to show you how to replace the locking mechanism as well as the keypad. Assuming you already own the safe. This video is not to teach you how to crack or open up a safe that's not yours. Now, to get this done, you really only need one tool, and that's a Phillips screwdriver. However, if you've got an older safe like I do, this body panel filler will help, and I'll show you why in just a minute. The video doesn't reflect that at all. They kind of show you, you lift up the panel on the inside and pull it out from the bottom. Mine doesn't do that. But anyway, the first thing you want to do is open up the safe. And then you want to take the back off, and this is where this tool comes in handy. Unlike the one they have in their instructions, this does not lift off, it actually pops off. So one of these body panel tools just makes it a lot easier to get it off. Before we start any work on the safe, the first thing we want to do is make sure this is in the lock position. You can do that here. If you see, there's a little lever and a bar. The way this works is when you close the safe, this lever is pushed up and it automatically throws the bolts like that. Now, here's what I mean about the plates being different. It might be hard to tell, but you'll see it when I take this off. This is a completely different setup. So let's go ahead and do as best we can with that. I'm going to take this plate off. Spring loaded and dropping down. Apparently in their instructions it doesn't show have to be spring loaded, but basically this bolt drops and locks this in place, and there is no opening that safe after that's happened. I'm going to save the plate. They give you all the parts you need for this, but bitter experience has taught me that even if they give you the parts, just hold on to the old stuff, because you never know. If something's wrong with that new one, I may be putting this old one back on. Disconnect this. This is the bolt that literally holds the locking mechanism in place. So there's not a lot to these safes, to be honest with you. Alright, there's the old one. We're going to go ahead and get rid of that one. I just pulled the combination keypad cable off of it, and I'm going to pull the keypad off. Alright, so I'm going to take off the keypad in the front, pull the keypad off, pull the cable through, and there we go. So the next step is to put the mounting screws on. This one I had put in here temporarily. Use vertically mounted screws. The new one has horizontally mounted screws, so I'm going to go ahead and put those on. It's a packet of hardware that came with the new one, branded NL. Here's the mounting screws. So here's a new keypad. Got a little sliding door for the battery, so it's probably a little bit easier to use than the last one. Pre-wired with the correct connector. So let's get this connector in here. And snap this on. Alright, so we got that one on. Now we go back to the inside. And we're going to mount this new one. Alright, so I've got the wire fed through. Got the bag of hardware. There's the wire. They did not show the spring loaded. I could probably take that spring out. So what we're going to do is run the wire through there and mount it into the connector. Now this is going to be the fun part. Got that in there. Let's get that wire out of the way. We want that to be there. Let's get the mounting screws that came with it, which are in this bag. Would be these 2 screws plus one of these large ones. And this is the fun part. They take the spring out in their video that they do for obvious reasons, because it probably makes it a little bit more difficult to get in. What I did was I got this one screw started, so now I've got a pivot point. You can see that this striker, I guess you call it, is there. Put this in here and lift it up. It should line up, and get that one in there. Now there's one more screw that goes in right here, and I'll get that one in a second. That's going to be one of these ones with the large head on it. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Didn't mess with this one, but that's being held up. I'm going to put a battery in it now and just make sure that it actually works, which would be a plus. Now I got some lights on it. Now one of the things that I don't like about these is that the battery hangs down, and I don't think that's really great. So the default combo should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually didn't like that very much. So the first problem we have is this is not allowing the safe to lock. I would call that an issue. I think what's going on is this plate is not lifting that high enough. I don't know if there's an adjustment for that, but I'm going to loosen those screws and see if I can get that up a little higher. Nope. It actually really sucks. I've got a choice. I can leave that out. I can probably bend it so it's up a little bit, and I'll probably give that a shot. I don't like doing that though. So there's your replacement from Canon, which doesn't let you relock the safe because this safety bolt here is in the damn way. Ain't that something else? Alright, so I figured out what I'm going to do. I'm going to shorten this bolt. I'm going to grind the bottom of this bolt off because it's just this plate is not holding it high enough. I'm going to go grind this down, and we'll give it a test and see what happens. Alright, so I've ground about 1/8 of an inch, actually more like a 1/16 of an inch, not that much, and actually slightly beveled this, which should be a good fit. Before I go any further, let me explain how this relocker, which is what it's called, it's actually a relocker bolt, and the way it works is called the relocker system. Let me explain how it works and what it's supposed to do. So it's spring loaded, and the way it works is, should this drop, it will prevent this from opening up, and I'll tell you exactly why. Let's put it in a closed position. Alright, so it's in a closed position, and what will happen is this plate will sit here and will be bolted in. Notice this has to be aligned correctly so that it's in there. And what this design does is, if the safe is drilled, and it was really made more for combination safes, if they smash the dial open and try to put something inside to push the locking mechanism out, what will happen is that will fall and it'll prevent this from opening ever until you have a locksmith come and do what they do best and get this open. Now what was happening here is this, with this modification and this plate, with this replacement that they sent, this was just low enough that you couldn't lock it. It was basically blocking the transfer bar from even closing, so you couldn't even close the safe. So I have modified this. I've taken 1/16 of an inch off, which appears to be perfect. However, I'm not a locksmith. I'm not a professional safe technician. So if you choose to do this, you do this at your own risk. Okay, just letting you know. I'm doing it. If I should get locked into my safe, that's my problem. I'll have to drill it or cut it open or whatever. But anyway, just wanted to put that on the table. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put this back together. I am going to install this with the spring. And fun times, I'm going to put the C-clip back on, which should be an adventure. So this will be spring loaded. Should it fire, which we don't want it to, it's going to forcibly push that down there. Now when I ground this down, I made sure that there was still enough left to hold it in place there, because if there's not, it could hang up on the side and then it's kind of pointless and wouldn't work. So let's get this plate back on. Alright, so now we're going to test it. Default combination 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yay! And will it close? It'll close. So that fixed that problem. Alright. I think we're done. Let's put the back on. Alright, last but not least, we're going to change the combination. We're going to press 0 until it beeps twice. We're going to put in the original combination, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get 2 beeps. Then I'm going to put in my combination. Once. Twice. Light goes out. And test it. Final test. And it is done. Alright. Alright, so you saw me get the inside lock, the outside keypad changed. Also had to modify the Relocker Bolt slightly, because quite frankly the replacement lock set that Canon sent was off enough that when you opened the safe you couldn't close it again because the relocker bar would be in the way. So that was kind of screwed up, but I feel comfortable with what I did. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit like, share it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. Thanks for watching.